Good morning. I'm going to go through the slides that you guys missed for the seminar yesterday. And then I'm going to go over what you need to do to make up missing the class. And so hopefully after this video, you'll know more about what needs to be done. And so I'm just going to go through the slides, and then you'll have to go back through the slides and watch the whole video and answer a couple questions for a makeup assignment. And so let's get started. So we started the seminar with everyone just introducing their name, the school site. Really, the seminar was for you to get to know everyone, but you're going to get to know everyone in your classes. Jessica and I went over kind of who we are and our journey. And the reason we went over this is because it leads into the slide 8. You should click on there and make sure that your slide is updated with your information and your pictures, because during the school year, you're going to do what's called a personal story. And so this slide is your starting point so that you don't have to work on that throughout the school year, so that you could share your personal story at seminar some days. We then just went into a welcome where you got to know more residents. Again, you'll get to know the residents throughout the year. And so what's awesome is with that, you will become a family. Every year, residents become a family because they get so close. We then went into kind of defining community, how you define community. And so this is kind of one of the things you're going to write on for your makeup assignment. And so you're going to really dig deep into how you define community, but then also the community resource project. So some background about Alder. So their focus is on creating great teachers who are in turn good for students. And so that's really their goal. And what's really cool about the program is you start from day one and then you go to the last day of school in the same classroom. And so you're able to see the whole year as a whole. Alder started in 2010 with a simple pilot program, and their essential question was, how can new teachers be best supported to grow into the kind of educators that have the potential become like the best teachers and good for students? And so the focus is to recruit teachers who reflect the demographics of the schools, and who are local and within the community. And then hopefully the end goal is to find graduates that are more effective in the classroom and teachers that are remaining in the classroom besides the national average. And so we have found that our residents are staying longer than normal teachers within the teaching profession and then also within the district. In 2017, Alder officially became a graduate school of education. What's wonderful about Alder is they work really closely with the Hemet and Unified School Districts. And so what you're learning in your classes is the theory, and then what you're learning in your placement is the practice. So you're not only learning things, but you're able to put it into practice right away. When Jessica and I first started, we were actually mentors of the first cohort, which the first cohort only had 12. And then after that, the next 5 cohorts had 40 residents. And when we first started, only the first 2 rows were full. And now Alder has grown. Alder is primarily in Northern California, but they are moving towards Southern California as well. So we have our 2 districts, San Jacinto and Hemet unified, but then also they're in Rialto, they're in Victorville, they're in Palm Springs, and they're also in Pasadena. So they are moving south. And Desert Sand. So there's multiple schools that it's starting to move towards. And again, we work closely with Alder, and then we are your directors for Hemet Unified and San Jacinto Unified School District. In Alder, they really focus on the whole child and a community-based approach in your classroom to create a culturally responsive classroom. And again, I don't know why this slide's here again. For Hemet Unified, the mission statement is embrace, educate, and empower. And San Jacinto is pretty similar in providing equity and access to all students. And so both of these mission statements kind of come together and even align with Alder's values. I know you guys are aware of this graph, and so really just know that you're going to have to be doing a lot of your coursework after the school day ends, but then also you have the coursework weeks, and so that is a change from the last residence. Before, the last residence would have classwork after the school day ends, and now they have a whole week, and so that maybe makes it where you have to do less during the weekends. We are having a kickoff. This is really important for July 28th and July 29th. So you are going to be going to one of the two kickoffs based on the kickoff that your mentor can attend, because we found out that some mentors are lead teachers and they have a training on one of the days. So wait to hear an email about which kickoff you're going to, and we'll let you know soon. We'll add you to a calendar invite, and then we're also going to email out a list of who's going to what kickoff. You're going to attend the kickoff with your mentor, and it's just a time for you to get to know your mentor. And again, Alder is really interesting because it gives you so many opportunities to learn. You're not only supported by the school staff, you're supported by a mentor, you're supported by your professors, and then also we have resident seminar every week, and we're here to support you as well. So you will have classes for the summer, the fall, and the spring. So you are starting your summer classes now, and then you will have your fall classes starting in August, and then spring classes at the end of the year. So you are in your classroom 3 to 4 days a week, and then you're at seminar the other day. There are 3 takeover weeks, and so these days are really important because they help you get your credential. And so the first takeover week is around October, and it is 3 to 5 days that you take over, and your mentor will help you plan for that. In the winter, it's 5 to 7 days that you take over, and spring 5 to 7 days. Now your days do need to add up to a certain amount, and so that's why it varies. So for example, if you do 5 days in the fall, then you could do 5 days in the winter, 5 days in the spring. But if you only do 3 days, then you're going to have to do a 7-day week. And then we have weekly seminar. And then once a month, your mentors will be out on a Thursday for seminar, and then you will be covering the class. There are 37 residents in this cohort, and so we do split the residents into 2 groups. So my team is right here, the yellow group, and Jessica's team is here. And so you'll have to find your name on the list to see which team you're on. And what that means is we still do seminars together, we do everything together, but we're the ones that observe you for your first semester observations. And really the teams are just broken down based on where your school is located that you're placed at. When you get the chance, can you please text us your phone number and your first and last name? So then that way we have it saved. With texting, you can text us anytime that there's something that is timely that you really need to know the answer for. But for the most part, you can email us anytime too, and we check that regularly. We had the residents reflect, then they played a fun game. So again, a lot of this is community builder, so this video is going to go pretty fast. We then talked about power and positionality and just the academic will of privilege, and just that even on the outside you could see some things, but then there's also some things in the inside that might be a privilege or not a privilege. And so we go over this, and Alder will go over this with residents, but then they also go over this with mentors. So then that way that everyone can see the outlook of everyone. And you'll find that Alder is very culturally responsive and really focuses on everyone being part of a community. And so you'll learn a lot more of this in your summer classes. And one thing though we do want you to do is go through the slide deck, and every time it says everybody writes, please write those responses in a document. Again, I'll be sharing the makeup assignment with you, but then also can you provide a document that you answer these questions. So for this everybody writes one, please answer that. And again, I could turn the background yellow on these ones, so then that way you know which ones to do. So I'll go back and do that for the other writing ones. So all the slides that are yellow, please open up a document and answer those questions as well as the makeup assignment. Then we started going into community agreements, and residents started to think about what they would want as a community agreement. So there's different types of community agreements. Some are procedural, so like starting on time, being prepared, but then some are also behavioral and community ways of being. So like how kind you are to each other. And so we do create community agreements for the classroom or for our cohort, and then you'll create them with your mentor as well during the kickoff. So those will be different. And so we did have everyone do the table group activity where they created a reflection on the community agreements. And so again, I'm going to turn this yellow. And if you can reflect on some community agreements and add them to this slide right here. And so again, I'll highlight that in a different color so that way you can see where to add it. And then we just debriefed as a group and went over council. So what council is at the start of every seminar, we talk as a group. Sometimes we split into two groups because there are a lot of us. And it's just a time to talk about what you guys are going through because all of you guys are in the same situation, going through seminar together and then also teaching together and then all of the classes, the master's credential in 1 year. We then went into the readings, and so hopefully you did the pre-work readings and just went over Yasso's cultural wealth model. And you'll hear more about her. She does write a lot of articles that you read throughout the year. And so what you're going to do, sorry, again, I'll turn this slide yellow, is you are going to read back through the articles. And then you're going to go in and you're going to create a concept map with the main points of the articles. Now you can create a slide for this or you can create a poster. And again, you're going to turn it in. So please, if you create a slide, share it with me. If you create a poster, share it with me as well. And again, your poster could just be a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be a whole poster since you're doing this at home. We then debriefed and then had a journaling opportunity. Again, I'll turn this yellow. This is going to be part of your journaling. So please answer these questions. Again, they go with the reading. Then we just did a community connector, again, just to get to know one another so you didn't miss out on too much with that and having to make up anything with that. And then we went into the community mapping project. And so this is where you two will have to find time to meet with one another to plan out your assignment because we did give residents quite a bit of time for this. But before we started the community mapping project, we did you're going to create a portrait of kind of your own adventure through school. And here's a slide on how to do that. And so again, this will be something that you're going to add to your pre-work and you're just going to create either a slide or even you can do it on paper of just your journey of going through school. And some examples are on these two slides. Again, I'll turn them yellow so that it's quick and easy for you to find them. And so here's some examples. So once you finish that, please share it with us. And then here's another reflection piece of it. So you can add the reflection to your drawing or to your setup. The reason for this is you're going to think about how schooling has changed the way you see education and how it changes your approach into being a teacher. But then it also shows the importance of community. And so then when we get into the community mapping project, you kind of see the connection. And so with the community mapping project, we dig into the readings and then we go into the assignment. And so that's a majority of the time that you missed is time to talk with one another. So on this slide, make sure to answer these questions. And then we just went into the community mapping project. So the residents had time to look through the community mapping project and reflect on it. So again, I'll turn this one yellow so that you can just write your written reflection. And they started working together. And so you two are going to be a partner for step two. So I'll change this yellow too. So you're going to be working on step two together. So you'll have to find a time to meet with one another. So then that way you guys can plan out step two. And it is due at the end of the summer for the next seminar. So make sure to work on step two. Set up a Zoom with each other. I can maybe send your emails to each other. You'll see your email in the email that I send for all this information and start working together. The residents got an hour to work together during the seminar, and then they planned how they wanted to continue to work together throughout the summer. So you guys will have to catch up on that. And so they did these things, and we went through questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send us an email. And then they worked with a group on their presentations. And so I'm going to turn this one yellow because I want you guys to see the examples. And so you're going to see the examples of the two presentations. And we do know how to spell presentations. And so go ahead and work on your presentation. And again, here's your group. So I'll turn it yellow so that you know you two are just working together. And so you'll see each other's contact information in this email. And then if you want to share phone numbers and stuff, you can do that. And then I want you to also reflect on this for your reflection questions. Then we did another energizer. We went over final summer preparations. And so make sure that you completed your reading and writing assignment. There is BrainFuse tutoring if you need it. Alder does provide Grammarly if you want to use that. If you need printed course readers, you could reach out to us. We could print some things. But then also Alder offers that too. And then if there's broken links, you can just work on it with this. For the C2CT grant, make sure if you were classified staff that we have the information and reach out to Jessica for this if you need to. Here's some pages that you should bookmark. Again, I'll turn this yellow. Make sure to bookmark these pages because you use these pages the most throughout the year. So you use Canvas for all your assignments. Here's the contact list of who to contact for Alder because some of the stuff that we can't help you with, Alder can. And then this summer class website has all the information you need for all of your classes. So like pre-work and all of that. Here's the calendar. This calendar changes as the year goes on, so it's a running document. But if you want to access the calendar, again, I'll turn it yellow because this calendar does tell you a lot of what you need to do. And so for the summer, you're going to have your classes and they're going to focus on like identity and teaching, foundations of an inclusive education, and principles of teaching and disciplinary literacy. If this is just an offering, if you want to make a homepage to keep all your documents, you can do that. Also, we went over email etiquette, so make sure that you're checking your district email once you get it and your Alder email every day because Alder will be and your professors will be contacting you through your Alder email, but the district will be contacting you and we will be contacting you through your district email. When you when we send an important email like, hey, make sure you do this or make sure you give us this, please just reply will do or a thumbs up or something so that we know that you got it. Make sure at your site, sorry, to not reply all unless you were meant to reply all to an email. And then just make sure that this year residents aren't guaranteed to be hired. So the whole year is a year-long interview. And so just make sure to be professional at all times, especially in emails. So again, make sure that you check the email that your instructors are going to use, but then also always check your Alder email. Over the summer, you are going to have classes from 8:30 to 5, and most of the classes are in person. And then this week down here, only if you're a bilingual candidate, which each of you guys are not, you will not have classes except for you're going to have the kickoff, and then we have the last seminar on the 31st. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry from talking so much. So for your stipends, you are going to be paid at the end of the July, and you'll get 11 payments. Make sure to keep some money to the side because taxes are not taken out of your paycheck until tax season starts. And then for CSETs, I believe both of you do not have to do your CSETs, so you're good on CSETs. The Constitution requirement, just hold off on this. It's not due until October 30th, but you can also work on your CPR if you do not have that yet, but make sure your CPR is adults, infants, and children. And so that is it. When you get the chance to, can you also fill out this feedback survey on the last slide? And I will be sending you an email with everything that you need to do. All right, I hope you have a great day.